Now children, we move to the next poem, The Wind, Stanley Cook. The wind. The wind is a wolf. Children, look at this. The wind is a wolf. Here they have used it as a phrase. Wind is a wolf. What do you mean by, children, wind is a wolf? It means that, how is the wolf, children? Imagine, just close your eyes and imagine the picture of a wolf. Yes, it's a fierce looking animal, right? So the wind is fierce and strong. And how is the wolf? Is it it's like when you look at a cat or you look at a dog, you would love to have it as a pet, right? But not a wolf. It's a dangerous animal. It's not a domesticated animal. So the wolf, the wind is a wolf, fierce, strong and dangerous. That sniffs at doors. Children, sniff means when you inhale, when you draw in air through your nose, like you're returning home after school and you sniff the nice aroma of a cake, right? So then you enter the kitchen and you want to know what mama is baking. It is like to detect a smell, sniff. You have sniffer dogs, right, which are used on the crime scene. They are used at crime scenes. And rattles windows. Rattles means shakes, okay, making a noise, rattle, shaking. With his paws. Paws over here, children, is the feet, the animal feet, the wolf feet. Hidden in the night, he rushes around. Now children, look here. He here is compared, the wind is compared to the wolf. The locked up house making angry sounds. Now the next para. He leaps on the roof and tries to drive away the house and everything inside. What's the meaning of leaps, children? Leaps is to jump or to spring at a great height with great force. Generally, you will see this leap when an animal is trying to, hunt for another animal, prey. So, forceful jump, quick movement, that is called leap. And what's he doing? He's trying to drive away the house and everything inside. If you look at the picture, children, it will give you a clear understanding. When the wind is there, children, you see, we rush to close, we rush to shut the windows because everything is here and there, scattered, right? Tired next morning, the wind's still there, snatching pieces of paper and ruffling your hair. So it was there last night and now it is still there, morning. And in the morning, they say that the wind, the poet says, the wind is tired, but it is still there. Snatching, children, is when you take something quickly, like without permission. If your brother has a piece of cake and you want something, so you just snatch it from him. Ruffling. Children, what's the meaning of ruffling your hair? Now I see most of the boys, doing this. They move their hand forward and backward through their hair. It is like you disarrange your hair or it's in a disorder state. Nowadays even girls do. They leave their hair long and then they ruffle through their hair. Okay? Yes. He quietens down and in the end you hardly notice him go, whispering down the road to find another place to blow. He quietens down. Children, what is the meaning of quietens down? That now the wind has become less noisy. Okay? Less noisy and now it is a more gentle. That's the meaning of quietens down. You hardly notice means like if somebody has entered the room and has gone, so you hardly notice that person when he has entered and when he has gone, you do not know. So that's the meaning of you hardly notice, you're hardly aware. whispering down the road. Whispering is in a quite low sound. To find another place to blow. To blow, children, is what? Blow is again like a strong wind. So the wind is going to another place now to blow. You blow off the candles, okay? So you take a gust of air in your mouth to to put off the candles. So children, let's move to the word check. Now this also I have discussed when we have done the poem. So well children, we are doing word check on page 2323. The poem is The Wind. Now the first one, children, the word check. Rattles. Rattles is what? Shakes. Pause. Feet. Snatching. Taking quickly. Ruffling is messing up. Children, all this was discussed when I was doing the poem. I gave you an example also, running through the hair, what the boys do, and now even the girls do, right? Now find these phrases in the poem and discuss what they mean. The wind is a wolf. I told you children in the beginning, the wind is a wolf means the wind is fierce and strong, dangerous like the wolf. Quietens down. Quietens down is becoming less noisy and more gentle. Now children, let's move to the comprehension part. The comprehension part, we are on page 2424. Now children, because there are two poems, the comprehension is divided into two sections. So please be careful and see which poem you are doing the comprehension. The first one is The Wind is Angry. Now what's the first question? What does the wind do in the night? Now for this children, you have to open to your text. Okay, how do we search the answer children? We have to read. Can you see? You have to find out the keywords, right? So first we find out the keywords and then we need to frame a sentence in the same manner. So what does the wind do at night? See here. You have your keywords here. At night the wind stamps his feet and bellows, because he is used over here. So we are using stamp his feet and bellows. So that's how you will frame your sentence. Now come to the second one. Second one is, what does the wind do in the morning? Sorry. Now similarly we have to find where is this answer now in the morning? See, you will find it here. Now how will we phrase this children? Think, read that sentence and try to phrase it. It's a little long one, but you can get it. You have to use verbs children. Yes, in the morning the wind gallops. Then, can you see here? In the morning he gallops is the wind. So the wind gallops, then charges at the walls, right? Then pulls the thatch, then beats with clenched fist against the windows. And what else is there? Yes, here also we are getting, right? And thrusting icy fingers into the crevices. Anything else? And under the door. So this is how you will frame your second answer. Now let's move to the third one. What does the house do when it is windy? Yes, what does the house do when it is windy children? See here the last paragraph. No? Here we are using she for the house. So we are saying the house is tired, the house is bored. How we are going to frame this in a sentence? Yes, we can say that when it is windy, the house watches with listless eyes, sighs, settles on her haunches and entrenches herself still more. Right? Okay. Now we move to the next comprehension. And this comprehension is about the wind. What does the wind do at night? Now this is going to be easy, children, simple. Same way you open and find out what's it doing in the night. Yes, can you guess? Yes, it's very clearly over here. What does the wind do at night? At night the wind sniffs. First is sniffs, right? I told you, no children, we are using verbs. At night the wind sniffs, then rattles windows. Can you see? Rattles windows. Rushes around. Rushes around. What else we have? Yes, makes angry sounds, right? And then something else we have, yes, and leaps on the roof. Okay, now next, move to the next one. What does the wind do in the morning? Similar to the first one. Find out what it does in the morning. Yes, that's the paragraph, correct. So next morning, what is the wind doing? It quietens down, right? It is quietens down and it goes whispering down the road. That is the next morning. Now the third question, we are moving to the third one. What's that? Where does the wind go? This is very simple, children. This I am not going to discuss. Let's see. You find out. Okay, find out the third one. Now children, before moving to this B part, okay, we have the B part, comprehension. Now before moving to this part, I want to ask you children something very important. Now pay careful attention. Okay, now in this first poem, right, here we have the poet using he for the wind and she for the house. So he is using gender, right? Now think about this title, children. Just look at this title. The wind is angry. The wind is angry. Children, can you think? Do you think the wind can be angry? Who is angry, children? Who gets angry? Think. Yes, we all get angry, no? It's an emotion. We all get angry. There are certain times or certain parts during the day, something has triggered, something has happened and we are angry. Right now some of us are angry even with this COVID situation. So here if you see, the wind is angry. Now even look at this, children, over here, stamping his feet. Who is stamping the feet? The wind. Billowing, making sounds, a groaning sound or an angry sound. Then look at this, charging at the wall, right? Now here, thrusting icy fingers under the crevices and under the door. Now, what do you think, children? Does the wind has fingers? Can the wind get angry? Does the wind has feet? What do you think about all this? Take a moment to think. Just think, children. Why has the poet used all this? Okay. Look at this poem, children. The second one, The Wind. The poet Stanley Cook has begun. The wind is a wolf. He sniffs. The wind is sniffing. Can the wind sniff? Does it have a nose? Right? Here also the wind is angry. Then he leaps. Can the wind jump? Does it have feet? Think. Okay, let me explain, children. All this we call it as personification. Personification is nothing but it is a figure of speech. Okay, figure of speech means, children, do you remember like as brave as a lion, she's as innocent as a lamb, or innocent as an angel? Innocent means not guilty. We have learnt all these are called similes, right? Now there are different figure of speech. So as you move to higher grades, you will learn the different figure of speech. You have already learned similes in the lower class. Right now in this poem, the poet has used personification. That's the figure of speech. Now what's the meaning of personification? Personification is a figure of speech in which objects without life are spoken of as having the qualities of a human being. So can you see, children, over here? The poet over here, he has used the qualities of a human being and the abilities, the qualities and even the abilities, like the wind has feet, he is bellowing, right? They are not human, but he has given these qualities to the things, human qualities. That's the meaning of personification. Look at some examples, children, here. The hills rejoice and clap their hands. Do hills have hands, children? Do you see them rejoicing? Rejoicing means happy. Have you seen? Right? So these are personification, figure of speech. The sun sank into the ocean in all its glory. Sank, sink and float. Went down. The earth thirsts for rain. When it rains, she smiles with plenty. So can you see human qualities are given here to things. Things means to earth. And here also can you see earth is referred as she. So we say thirst. So all these are called these are called as personification, figure of speech. This is STS. Okay. So children, with that, now let's move to the comprehension B. How do you know that the wind is angry? Now children, for this we need evidence from the text. So you have to quote or you have to cite the lines which are given in the poem. Like I can give you an example saying the wind is behaving angrily. Children, think of humans. When you are angry, what do you do? Okay. As I told you an example, we clench our teeth, we clench our fist, then you start pulling things, right? Similarly over here they are talking about the wind. What is the wind doing? What does it show? Stamping feet, yes, that could be one. Charging at the walls. So children, this would be your homework. I gave you 1 or 2 examples. Work on it. Think, read, understand. Now we move to the second one. What words and phrases does the poet use that make the wind seem human? Now children, first see it is from this poem, the wind is angry. So what does it use that the wind seems like human? The wind seems like human means the wind looks like human. What would you use here to think that the wind is a human? You can see the parts of the body which are used. He is in rage and then clench his fist and icy fingers. So that's more human because they are talking of fingers, right? So now the third one, children, this is your personal opinion. You'll have a personal response. Explain why you like or dislike the poem. So if you like, give an explanation. If you dislike, you need to give an explanation. Now children, just don't write one word, okay? You really need to think. So please make it 2 or 3 sentences. You could use evidence also from the text, but use your own response. It will be your personal response, right? Now we are moving to the wind. What words and phrases does the poet use that makes the wind seem like a wolf? Yes, what is that? Looks like a wolf. Think. For the wind is angry, I said feet and fingers. So for the wind it swims like a wolf. What is it? What does animal do? I told you the example of dog. Sniffs, right? So it shows me that these are keywords, children. So sniffs, then has paws, right? So you find more and you continue with this answer. Now the next one, explain why you like or dislike this poem. Now this is about the wind. So you will write why you like or you dislike this poem. And the last one is, which poem do you think gives the best description of the wind? Explain your answers. So you read both the poems and then you see which is giving you, or you feel which is giving the best description of the wind. Now when you're writing this, children, you have to imagine the wind. Okay? Imagine, most of us have been out on a windy day. We have experienced what's a windy day. So write in your explanation. So that's all, children. Thank you for your participation. And please complete your homework this week, children. Many of you are sending me August homework. Please complete your homework. Do not keep work pending so long. Thank you. Have a nice day.